Hey friends, Gary here. Welcome to today's video. Today I want to share my most used micro four thirds lenses for my personal photography in 2025. So I make this kind of video frequently, almost every year, but today I'm kind of surprised with my own observations. So there are some new lenses that are not previously on this list, but there are also some lenses that I thought will never appear again on my list, but keep appearing. So yeah, this is a great little reflection and also a great learning experience for me personally, so that I can understand my personal photography preferences. We always evolve as a photographer, and hopefully this video can also inspire you guys as well. You can learn from my findings. But without further ado, now let's start with the first lens. First lens that I use frequently in 2025 is this guy right here, the Panasonic Leica 9mm f1.7. So I'm always a big wide angle kind of guy. I always love how I can incorporate more storytelling elements using wide angle lens. And the Panasonic Leica 9mm is a new lens. That's one of the reasons why I use it frequently this year. But also, this lens solves a lot of problems that I previously encountered with my ultra wide angle lenses. So before the Panasonic Leica 9mm, I love this guy so much. This is the Laowa 7.5mm f2, a great little lens, not really that heavy, not really that big, large aperture of f2. I love it so much. It produces great image quality. However, it's not an autofocus lens, it's a manual focus only. And although manual focus with wide angle lens isn't really a problem because of the large hyperfocal distance, meaning that you can get everything almost in focus all the time, it is still a little bit of a problem. When I went to Iceland in 2022, I captured the most iconic Kirkjufell mountain with the Kirkjufellfoss waterfall. It was so beautiful. However, I noticed that it is not in focus because I accidentally bumped the lens a little bit before I took the picture. So that kind of makes me angry. So I get this guy instead. This is the Panasonic Leica 8 to 18mm f2.8 to f4. Very happy with the performance of this lens. I took it to New Zealand, took so many great pictures with this guy. However, the problem with this lens is not the optical quality or the autofocus or anything like that. It's just that it's big and heavy, and I tend to just leave it at the hotel because it's just too cumbersome to use. It's not compact enough, especially for travel photography. And that's why the Panasonic Leica 9mm now is my favorite. It solves all of the problem. The lens has autofocus, it is small, it is lightweight, the image quality is excellent. I will show you some photos captured using this guy right now so you can see for yourself. And yeah, I brought this lens to Iceland as well recently, took so many great photos with this guy. But even before I went to Iceland, I just enjoyed using this lens and tried to incorporate it more for my everyday photography. The f1.7 large aperture helps for lower light situation, obviously. When I was in Iceland, I was able to capture northern lights with this guy. But in Indonesia and for non-travel situation, the 9mm focal length actually is quite flexible. It's not really too wide, but it's more than wide enough for an ultra wide angle lens. So I kind of enjoy using this lens so much, and I'm quite sure that I will continue using the Panasonic Leica 9mm in the future. Next lens that I use a lot this year is the Panasonic Lumix 14 to 140mm f3.5 to f5.6 super zoom lens. My particular lens is the Mark I version with the larger f3.5 to f5.6 aperture. I love it so much, I don't really feel the need to upgrade to the Mark II version yet with the weather sealing. It's just fine. I just took it to Iceland. It got destroyed by rain and wind and snow and all of those crazy things, but it is still working just fine, no problem. So yeah, no weather sealing, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. But anyway, super zoom lens, it promises versatility. convenience and also speed, being able to capture moments quickly without having to change lenses. Yeah, that's why I use this lens a lot. Two different kinds of scenarios where the 14 to 140 really shines. First of all, for travel photography, where you need to compromise a little bit, you cannot bring too much gear because obviously when you're riding an airplane, you have that 7 kilogram weight limit restriction on your carry-on. So this lens is compact enough, it's not really that heavy, but it can replace multiple lenses at once. You just need to bring one lens to capture everything from wide angle to telephoto. Obviously, super zoom for travel. But second scenario where this lens really shines is for everyday photography. Sometimes life gets in the way. I got busy with my work in the office. I got busy with, family stuff and things like that. And I might not have enough time for my personal photography hobby. And this lens really helps me to get back to photography after such time. Taking baby steps, using a very convenient lens to use, something that's easy, that helps me to just focus on the composition, on getting the picture and worry less about the gear. That's where a super zoom lens really shine. But yeah, the image quality of the 14 to 140 is surprisingly very good for a super zoom lens. A lot of my keeper shots are actually captured using this lens. I brought this guy to Iceland recently and it took so many beautiful pictures of the dramatic Icelandic landscapes, and I just love it so much. And even in Indonesia, as I mentioned before, with my everyday photography, I was able to capture nice sceneries, everyday kind of stuff, a little bit of landscape stuff with this guy as well. And I just enjoy using this guy. And I will continue to use it for a long time. Next lens that I use frequently this year is the Panasonic Lumix 35 to 100mm f2.8. I'm surprised to find out that this lens make it to the list today because, just to be honest with you guys, this is not my usual preference. You already know the kind of lenses that I like. The ones that are smaller, lighter, not too expensive but provide a lot of bang for your buck. This guy is quite the opposite of everything that I like. It is on the bigger side, it is on the heavier side, it is also on the pricier side as well. But nevertheless, it proved to be a lens that I kind of enjoyed using specifically this year, especially for two specific purposes. First of all, for portrait because of the large f2.8 aperture, and also for distant landscape photography with the flexible telephoto focal length that you can zoom from mild telephoto 35mm all the way to 100 medium telephoto focal lengths. So yeah, being a professional grade lens, it has some benefits that you won't find on any other lenses. First of all, it is weather sealed. That's very important if you do outdoor photography a lot. And also, it doesn't trombone when you zoom the lens. There's nothing extending physically on the front element of the lens, unlike some of the cheaper zoom lenses that I have. Image quality, undoubtedly top notch, and being a pro grade lens, that's to be expected. It has its own character that I like, specifically when you're doing portrait photography at longer telephoto focal lengths, at the largest f2.8 aperture. It can produce that nice swirly circular bokeh kind of thing that I happen to enjoy. It gives it its own character, so it's not too clinical. And yeah, I brought this lens to Kopang earlier this year. That is the place in central Java where you can see some different volcanoes from one spot, and just a beautiful place. And this lens was able to capture some nice distant landscape photos of these volcanoes. And yeah, it also reminds me of the trip itself. I was able to have some great time, a great vacation time with my wife and my in-laws. Next lens that I use frequently this year is obviously my kit lens, the Panasonic Lumix 12 to 32mm f3.5 to f5.6. Yes, this is a small, lightweight, compact lens that can easily fit into one of my Micro Four Thirds cameras, and I always bring this with me whenever I just want to go out and about, don't want to think too much about photography. I need something small that can produce more than good enough result. Yes, the kit lens can do that. Can you see how tiny it is? I mean, it's not a bother at all when you put it inside of your camera bag. So that's why I use it frequently. Again, this reinforces what I already said many times on my videos. If the gear is smaller, you'll be more inclined to take it out more often, and when you take it out more often, you take more pictures with it. Take more pictures with it means you practice more photography, and more practice means better photography. So indirectly, my kit lens makes me become a better photographer because it encourages more photography practice. But anyway, image quality of this lens, yeah, so many people doubted this lens. I mean, oh Gary, it's just a kit lens. It's, not a great lens at all. I don't get sharp result with it. I don't get great performance with it. Yes, not the best Micro Four Thirds lens in the world by any stretch, but still, I think it can produce a respectable result provided that you manage your expectations. As you can see right now, I'm putting some photos that I captured using this lens, and I'm quite happy with the result. Everything looks sharp, everything looks contrasty. Yes, there are some problems with flares and ghosting, especially when you have a strong, bright light source like the sun, backlight situation, stuff like that. But for normal, everyday usage, I think it is more than good enough. Last but not least, the lens that I use frequently this year is obviously my favorite telephoto lens, the Panasonic Lumix 35 to 100mm f4 to f5.6. I was worried that this lens won't make it to today's list, but fortunately, although I don't take as many pictures with this lens as last year or the year before, I still use it frequently. I mean, it's just an amazing lens for sure. And also, this is what Micro Four Thirds was all about. It is a small, lightweight lens, but it can produce great image quality, and also it is not really that costly. And yeah, again this year I don't use it as frequently as before, mainly because I was trying to experiment with some other lenses, including some that are on today's list as well. But still, some of my keeper shot that I captured this year are captured with this lens. I just love it so much. And yeah, I will continue to use this lens in the future. Speaking about image quality, no doubt I will use this even for mission critical photography. I captured a very beautiful picture of Mount Merapi volcano, a volcano nearby my hometown, just 1 hour drive away, with this lens, and I got a really great result. I'm just so happy whenever I got a chance to use this lens. Also for everyday photography, because it is small enough and light enough, I can just put it inside of my camera bag and be ready to capture anything that's far away, whether it's a distant landscape or just something interesting in general that are far away from me. Yeah, next year I think I will use this guy more frequently than this year. And that wraps up today's video. So those are all the lenses that I use the most in 2025. Hopefully this video has been interesting, entertaining, fun, and inspiring for you guys. Makes you want to go out and take some pictures. But enough about me. What about you guys? I want to hear from you. What are your most used lenses in this year? Share on the comment down below. I'd love to read your comments and have a chat with you. But anyway, enough talking about gear. I want to invite you guys to take more pictures. Go out, have some fun with photography, and you can join the collective gallery. Submit your photos and I will feature them on future videos. So if you've been back from a vacation, you have some banger photos that you want to share it to the collective gallery. I will provide the link right here. Or even if you're just doing out and about photography, finding something interesting, share it as well and I will feature it on one of my videos. Let's inspire each other. Don't just talk about gear, but we go out and actually take pictures. Anyway, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to my channel down below. If you want to support my channel even further, consider joining my Patreon membership to get exclusive benefits, being able to download my Lightroom preset, being able to download some of my photos that I captured myself in 4K resolution. You can use it for your phone's background, desktop wallpaper, that kind of stuff, and also other exclusive contents, including upcoming travel photography course in a video format where I will share all of my knowledge, passion, and experience about travel photography so that you can learn more, and also to access some other courses or tutorials that I've shared in the past. So yeah, the link right here, it's patreon.com/Gary_W. Also, I invite you guys to use my affiliate links down below. Some of these links will provide you with some discounts, and I will also get a little bit of a kickback that will help me to run this channel. Anyway, thank you so much. I will see you guys on the next video. Goodbye.